Hello, YouTube. This is at Agrode on Steemit and also Dr. Blair Reich. Gonna talk to you again about another Mandela Effect. This one is exploring the Mandela Effect. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Line has changed to magic mirror on the wall in Disney's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So that might be surprising to you. Most people remember it the mirror, mirror way, but we're going to watch the clip. You're going to see that's not what's in the movie anymore. But before we do that, I just want to remind people, I have this big study. Over 30,000 people have answered. The next time I'm going to do a revision is at 50,000 responses. But I did one for 25,000 responses, and when I did that, the study has 7 questions that are Mandela Effect questions and then 2 questions that are controls. Most people that kind of first run into the Mandela Effect will tell you, well, it's just a memory problem or people confuse things, so it's really important to go put controls in. So I had 2 controls that nobody thought that there's a Mandela Effect there. They were like 20, 30 years old, and so it was a good question to say, okay, are your memories any different about this? And so what ended up happening was that for the general population in one of them and the extremely confident population was like over 95% correct. So that looked great. On the other one, like 62% of the moderately sure or moderately certain people got it right, but it was 95% of the extremely confident people got it right. So, to me, it means that moderately confident people are still guessing to some extent. So now what I do is I only look at the extremely confident people, and those are the ones that traditionally have like some kind of really specific memory that draws them to thinking that it's one way or the other. Like they either watched it a ton of times, or they've been exposed to this a ton of times, or they just have really distinct conversations about it, or there's some kind of trigger in their memory that makes them know that stuff for sure. So here's some of the raw data that I got out of this survey. It's stored on 2 different servers. So on one of them I have 23,000 hits, and on the other one I have 7,692 hits. And you can see, in the general population, without even the scrubbing the guesses, we're sitting up here at 86%. And that's not even just taking account just only the ones that are extremely confident. For those folks, the overall number was 90.7. So 90.7% of the people that took this, as you can see, almost all of them feel like, you can't see it in this, but most of them felt extremely confident. So I had a really good group to work with, and 90.7% of them were very confident that that was the right answer. And that's shocking because that's not what's in the movie. And furthermore, the people gave me all kinds of answers that would help clarify where they got this distinct memory from. So here's one. I remember having a toy about Snow White of a mirror, and I still have it. I'm using it right now, and she is saying mirror, mirror on the wall, not magic mirror on the wall. My parents bought this in Disney World. So we're going to see the movie says magic mirror. Why the heck would her Snow White toy from Disney say mirror, mirror? Okay, so she was speaking to the mirror. I used to play around and use this phrase as a kid. Geez, I still used to use this phrase growing up. This one hit me pretty hard. I have never heard of magic mirror and was blown away when I noticed the change. I will never agree that it was magic mirror while I was growing up, ever. So that's obviously somebody that feels strongly about this. This one, these Mandela Effect things, you can kind of ignore them because you're like, oh, it's just one word, who cares? But the word changes what the meaning is. So let's go hear some thoughts from not just me, but the quiz respondents. Well, it was kind of an incantation, both to bring the mirror to active state as well as gain an answer to a question she needed surety about. I have watched this with my daughter when she was younger, and of course I had seen it when I was younger and completely certain of the verbiage. It was an incantation. Mirror, mirror on the wall. She was casting a spell to go sort of awaken the mirror. She wasn't just talking to, hey, magic mirror, will you do this? Like magic mirror is how you might address it. Mirror, mirror is how you'd cast that spell. And that's why we all have this kind of collective memory of her casting a spell to bring the magic mirror awake. So here's another one, same theme. I remember watching it. I remember repeating it, always wondering why the evil queen could not think of anything better to say other than mirror twice. It made me think that perhaps it was part of the incantation, like saying mirror twice would turn it on or something. And so, again, if she says magic mirror, it means something different. You're like, hot hair dryer, like you're just talking to an object, as opposed to hair dryer, hair dryer. You're like summoning it. And that's why like how you actually talk about this thing matters. And then lastly, this effect is in multiple languages. It's not just English. I know I'm correct because I'm from Serbia and have heard this phrase in my own language. I watched this when I was a kid and I remember the line in my language, which is a translation of mirror, mirror. There's no way it was any different. I am 100% sure. Even nowadays, kids in my country will say mirror, mirror because of their parents taught them. I just went on YouTube to find the show Snow White synchronized in my language, and to my big surprise, all recent uploads say magic mirror. It was never like that. But I found one upload from 2010 where the narrator says mirror, mirror in my language. Again, I'm 100% sure it's mirror, mirror, as we used to say it like a song. It's etched in my memory. And you probably think that too, but watch, I got us right to the point.
What wouldst thou know, my queen?
Magic mirror on the wall.
Right? That's so weird. Here, let's go listen to that thing one more time. Totally crazy.
Magic mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest one of all?
And actually, that whole line doesn't make any sense. It was mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Not magic mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? Like, and actually, she says, who's the fairest one of all? Like, I can't even say this thing correctly because it doesn't make any sense to me.
Who is the fairest one of all?
Who is the fairest one of all? Crazy. So, anyways, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? That's what it's supposed to be. You do enough of these videos and you watch it enough and it gets confusing in my own head. But I certainly remember that this thing was mirror, mirror, just like almost everybody else. So anyways, what we get down to is that you have to come up with, is this a memory problem? Is this collective mishearing? Or there's a more sophisticated term called confabulation. And, to me, I run into people, I put a bunch of these videos up, and when I'm scrolling through the comments, almost all the negative ones have some like, oh, it's just confabulation, you're just getting it wrong, or you're confused or something. And I totally get why that's like your first response. So like, if it's just a memory problem, you can kind of brush this thing off. If this Mandela effect is real, it means that like, your physical universe that's around you that you just take for granted as being like set in place, does not change. This is what the universe is, but now it can change. That's got to like change your entire worldview of like what's around us. So accepting the Mandela effect is not just like, well, it's memory or not. Like if it's memory, then your life is easy. And if it's not memory, you have to like change an entire worldview about how the universe operates. Or are we in a simulation, or come up with some kind of theory? Did aliens attack us or something? I don't know. But if the Mandela effect is real, then it changes what our existence kind of means here. So anyways, one of the things that Mandela effect researchers are going to do is we're going to go look for this thing called reality residue, where you're looking for, is there any evidence of the old way? Now, confabulous will say, no, well, if you see this evidence of the old way, that's just why everybody's confused and think of the line as being different. In this case, there's actually old evidence that goes both ways, but all of that evidence to me is so tiny compared to what is said in the actual movie. I'll have all these kind of smaller bits and shows and whatever. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, adjusted for inflation, is one of the top 10 movies of all times. There's few movies on the planet that have been watched more than this. So people weren't diving into, some reenactment that we're going to see and be like, wow, that's really confused me compared to what the Queen says. Like 8 people watched that thing. There's evidence that it existed, and other people use that line, the mirror, mirror that we're used to. But to me, it's, because of the scale, there's, 1% of the lifetime views of all this stuff is wrapped up in these, the smaller like memes or illusions. And then it's like 99% of what people's memories are about this is the Queen standing in front of the mirror. So anyways, I got a bunch of different videos up here. This first one I like quite a bit. I'm going to take off the sound here, but he just keeps going through some of these different newspapers that he was able to find, and he'll show you lines of, mirror, mirror on the wall. So these are from like 1913 all the way up through the present. I forget the original date that this thing came out, but it's close to the beginning. Here's 1937 where they say mirror, mirror on the wall. There's 1983. So this person just has a whole bunch of these newspaper clippings that go pretty far back. So that one's pretty good. This is a Looney Tunes special where there's a witch.
Magic mirror on the wall.
So she says magic mirror on the wall. So there's at least, for the confabulous, it's like, well, there's actually culture that goes the opposite way too. So maybe shouldn't we see more people thinking that it's magic mirror if there are Looney Tunes that are this old that go against the grain? Here's Saved by the Bell.
Mirror, mirror from the mall.
So, there, hopefully you heard that. It's Mirror, Mirror from the Mall. Here's a fairy tale one. It's Fairy Tale Theater 13. It's just some reenactment.
White's mother possessed. She was mean and selfish and very, very vain.
Mirror, mirror on the wall.
So there it is, Mirror, Mirror on the Wall. I don't know when this weird little thing was filmed, but that's pretty old. Here's Descendants cast, Rotten to the Core. This is part of the chorus.
You're so useless. Misunderstood.
So there's Mirror, Mirror on the Wall. I mean, it's this extremely famous line, but, to me, it's not like everybody's getting this thing wrong. There's the Telegraph. And so here, Mirror, Mirror, which Snow White will be fairest of all? So there, this is, I guess, recent, but they're using Mirror, Mirror. You would think that the Telegraph, which is a pretty mainstream media platform, would be able to get this thing right. There's an episode of Star Trek called Mirror, Mirror, right, where there's sort of two parallel dimensions, and something is wrong. That tells you something. Here's the movie called Mirror, Mirror. They didn't call it Magic Mirror. They called it Mirror, Mirror. Why would that possibly be if that line wasn't there and so famous? This is from Shrek.
Mirror, mirror on the wall.
So there the little prince or king says that. This is from Once Upon a Time, season 4, episode 1. Oh, I gotta turn that up. You guys couldn't hear that. Let me put this back.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Mirror, mirror on the wall.
Boom. Mirror, mirror on the wall. That, it's not hard to tell. That's the thing. The people are going to say, oh, they heard it wrong. You can tell the difference between Mirror, Mirror and Magic Mirror pretty easily. Let's see this one. This is Snow White and the Huntsman.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all?
Yeah, see, that's what I remember. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all? That's like the easiest, most clean line ever. It flows off your tongue. It makes so much sense. And they're using it in these movies, which is why they're going to say, oh, there's all this confabulation. But honestly, the Mandela Effect is a new effect. Actually, I should probably go pull up the paper here. We'll do that too. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the loneliest fool of them all? I mean, hilarious, right? But they're not saying magic mirror on the wall. This is a song. Here's this is from Once Upon a Time.
Never seen the sun, so of course it's good.
This spring.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all?
There it is again. I mean, that's the line. Here's Fresh Prince.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. Jean-Claude Van Damme, I'm fine.
I mean, that breaks the line a little, but again, it was Mirror, Mirror. Here's another one for Fresh Prince.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. I ain't too short, I ain't too tall. Damn if I don't have it all.
So, Mirror, Mirror on the wall. This was Simpsons, Mirror, Mirror on the wall. Who's the baldest one of all, or baldest of them all? So that's hilarious. Here's a nightly news. Where was this? This is from January of 2015. Again, you'd think NBC would be able to get lines correct for movies. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of all? And actually, this is funny because this is sort of like the combination of all is not what that's supposed to read like, but like the mirror, mirror and the ending of all, those two don't quite go together. So they kind of got, that's their confabulation. They mixed the two Mandela effects. So, I mean, it's mirror, mirror hanging on the wall. Why didn't she sing Magic Mirror hanging on the wall? Because that's what they said in the Disney movie that everybody watched. But it doesn't actually work like that. Because again, not only can we find evidence for all these other sort of memes off of that theme, but this is a Walt Disney storybook, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And here it is, mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of us all? So that's a slightly different version, but that's mirror, mirror. And then this is a Hallmark keepsake from 2007, and it says "Mirror, Mirror on the Wall." And then there's a Walt Disney classic, "Mirror, Mirror on the Wall, who's the fairest of them all?" I mean, that's the line, and so you can see it in these collector's series. So the confabulation argument is like, well, there's things like this, so therefore that's why everybody gets confused. And my thought is like, who saw these things? Like maybe like who spent $20 at Disney World to go buy them? Maybe it's a bunch of people, but it's nowhere near the number of people that went out and watched the movie. And so this just doesn't sell it to me. I guess the other thing I would show you is that this is a new effect. So what we're looking at, this is the paper that I put out there for this thing, and we're going to scroll down to Skull and Bella. Where's my Disney princess? Whoops, or my Disney queen. Sorry, guys. All right, there it is. So what we're going to look at is when did all this like mirror, mirror on the wall business? So I guess there was a re-release here, and so and nobody's looking for Magic Mirror then. Nobody cares about Magic Mirror at all. So the big line in the movie that has never been different. Nobody's looking for that. Every single person in the entire world that looks for this is going mirror, mirror on the wall. And then sometime around July of 2015, people really started experiencing the Mandela effect. And now you get to 2016 and people actually notice it for this show in particular. And wow, look at this thing spike. There's no movie release here. People are just going out of their mind that like, I have to go look up mirror, mirror on the wall because this doesn't make any sense. I mean, maybe there's some other show or something, but the fact that this isn't coming until afterwards, and maybe there's some other blips, but people are starting to look for these things, and now you can actually see for the first time Magic Mirror on the wall. And I guess that's part of why I think that this is really like this new effect. There's other reasons why I think it's a new effect too, but nobody cares up until July of 2016, and now suddenly everybody's wondering, where the hell did Magic Mirror come from? Nobody cared before, but now suddenly they do. So this is like a brand new effect. Something around us changed, and it wasn't there before. It was always mirror, mirror on the wall, and then suddenly, somehow, the universe around us, I think it, for me, I started noticing in July of 2015. Other people have gone back and said it's before 2012, but that's the minority. The minority of people say, there's less than 20% of the people that say the changes started before July of 2015. Almost everybody, like the other 80%, say changes didn't happen until after July of 2015. So this is where some of my data is. You got to start looking at multiples of these things. Why did nobody in the entire world look for Magic Mirror when that's the biggest line that's in the movie? So that's what I wanted to show you guys for Magic Mirror. Here's another. This one is a very strong Mandela effect. It's probably one of the strongest that's out there, and it's just so memorable. Like everybody has their memory of when they heard that line and using it and playing with it. And there's some products that are out there too. And it's a very strong effect. So I just wanted to bring this one to your attention. Thanks, guys.